Some questions answered, a lot left unknown. Let's go over the NTSB Prelim Report on the Rob Holland crash on this episode of Taking Off.
The aircraft was coming in to land on runway 8, impacted terrain beside the runway between the taxiway and the runway, and unfortunately the pilot succumbed to his injuries.
Hi, I'm Dan Milliken. On April 24th, 2025, the airshow world was dealt a horrible and heavy blow when airshow pilot extraordinaire Rob Holland was killed when his MX aircraft crashed at the Langley Air Force Base. The report gives some clues, but there's still a lot we just don't know. And here's what the NTSB is saying. And by the way, kudos to the NTSB for moving so fast on this prelim report. Talking to other airshow pilots, everyone's surprised by how fast this has come out, and credit is due to the NTSB for that. First, the report, they go over the narrative of what happened. At approximately 11:35 Eastern, the MXS airplane, November 530 Romeo Hotel, crashed at Langley Air Force Base in Virginia. Rob Holland was the only one on board. The flight originated from Smyrna Airport in Tennessee. Rob was coming in for the upcoming air show at Langley. Multiple witnesses stated that they observed the airplane on approach to land on runway 8 at Langley. The airplane made a normal approach to the runway, and when it was over the end of the runway, it leveled off at about 50 feet above the runway and flew straight down the runway for several hundred feet. Now, here's runway 8. He was coming in this way, and at the threshold, he leveled off at 50 feet, then continued a few hundred feet. The aiming point markers here are usually about 1,000 feet down the runway. So a couple of hundred feet would put him here. The airplane then porpoised twice. It pitched straight up and then rolled 90 degrees to the left, descending to the ground, making impact. The NTSB continues with information on the aircraft. Serial number was MXS-001 and had an FAA Special Airworthiness Certificate in the experimental category for the purpose of exhibition and air racing. The pilot collaborated with the manufacturer to modify the airplane to the pilot's specifications. This includes an access hole to the left and right elevator to insert counterweights to adjust the elevator feel depending on the aerobatic routine performed. This is a picture they provide of the aluminum threaded plug which was used to access the counterweight hole. The picture is of the right elevator after the crash. This plug is in place, and we'll get to the left plug in a moment. More about the aircraft. The MXS is a single pilot, single engine, all carbon fiber airplane. It's 21 feet long and a wingspan of 24 feet. The engine is a 380 horsepower Lycoming with a top speed of 230 knots. The plane can pull 16 Gs and roll at nearly 500 degrees per second, and this is all info from Holland's website. The report, the NTSB report, continues talking about the crash site, which was about 100 feet from the left side of runway 8 and 500 feet beyond the approach threshold. And that puts the crash site approximately here. Early reports had the crash further down, but if I take just what's in the NTSB report, 500 feet is approximately here, and 100 feet over would be about right there. All major components of the airplane, the four corners, were found at the crash site. Now back to the elevator counterweight plugs. The left elevator plug was not installed and was located 10 feet behind the wreckage. The counterweight plug threads were intact. Half of the circumference of the left plug displayed gouging, and there was evidence of paint transfer, which would be from the horizontal stabilizer, which pictures of that show dents and scrapes consistent with the counterweight plug. The elevator trim tab was found in the full up, which is the nose down position. This is interesting. If Rob was fighting a stuck or jammed elevator, the fact that in such a short time he trimmed it all the way to the stop is amazing. The report goes on to list the main components of the crash site. It does mention that the aircraft had avionics that does have some data that they can download, and maybe that'll have some more clues. as the investigators go forward. The airplane's latest condition inspection, the annual equivalent for experimental airplanes, was completed very recently on March 3rd, 2025, and Rob's medical was done recently as well on March 5th. That's the NTSB report. And talking to some airshow pilots, one question that they have, and I'm sure the investigators will be asking the same question, was there any counterweight in the elevator? If so, what happened to it? No mention in the prelim report is made on the intact right side elevator that still had the plug. For non-pilots, the elevator is the airfoil surface, the smaller, what looks like a wing, typically in the rear of the airplane, but not always. The original Wright brothers airplane had it in front. The elevator may be a section of movable airfoil that is attached to the rear of the horizontal stabilizer, and that's that small wing in the rear. The elevator is controlled by the yoke or the stick. When the control is pulled back, the elevator deflects upward, causing the nose to pitch up. Push forward, and the elevator deflects down, and the aircraft noses down. Or as my flight instructor first told me, you pull back and the houses get smaller, push forward, the houses get bigger. If something gets caught up in the elevator, restricting the movement or effectively locking the elevator in a certain position, things can get bad. In this particular crash, we don't know yet what happened. It could be several things. Most crashes are multiple factors. One thing in talking to airshow pilots and what I take away from this report, it's not the big things that they're worried about, it's the small things. The big things you can usually see coming. You can check for those. It's the small things that can get you that are harder to see coming. Aviation can be very unforgiving, and the longer we fly, the more people that we know that have been lost, and this sucks. The air show at Langley carried on with an emotional tribute by the Thunderbirds, performing a missing man formation, with many other heart-rendering moments like the piano burning, which I first witnessed a piano burning ceremony when my friend died in an extra practicing air show maneuvers. The piano burning is a tradition born from the British RAF, Royal Air Force.
This pilot's loss, as everyone can appreciate, has been felt deeply by the entire aviation community and especially all of the performers that were here. It's a very close family. So every single one of them, I'm sure, will pay tribute and pay homage in their own special way. Clearly, this loss will be on all of our minds and in all of our hearts, and we'll always all be thinking about his family throughout the weekend. And so not only do we hope that this air show is yet again a great opportunity to welcome in the community and still celebrate the joy of air power and the promise of air power and all the inspiration that brings, but we do hope that it's also a tribute to his legacy and really his wizardry in the air.
My condolences to the friends and family of Rob. He was extremely well liked. He was a great guy and an exceptional pilot and will be incredibly missed. Rob Holland was a true titan of the skies whose breathtaking aerobatic performances left millions in awe. He was a 13-time U.S. National Aerobatic Champion and 6-time World Freestyle Champion. He redefined what was possible in flight with innovative maneuvers like the inside tumble and the frisbee. His precision, his passion, and relentless pursuit of excellence inspired countless pilots and fans. Beyond his unmatched skill, Rob was known for his humility, his generosity, and dedication to mentoring the next generation of aviators. Many hearts have been broken with this crash, and hopefully we can learn what happened to help make us safer in the future. Thanks for watching, and if you want to check out another report, it's right here. So stay safe, and remember, superior judgment trumps superior skills.